a month and a half ago, but he was sick for about 2 or 3 months before he passed away. And I would say probably about 9 days before he passed away, while he was on his deathbed, I got really bold with him and I looked at him and I said, I want to see you in heaven when I get there. And I don't know if you'll be there. So would you like to say the salvation prayer with me? Now, keep in mind, my dad, he did accept Christ at a young age. He went to church, but there was a lot of human, fleshly nature that was going on with my dad, right? And so I'm not God. I'm not here to judge. So I don't know if his final resting place would have been heaven or hell. But I wanted to make sure that I saw my father when I went on to be with the Lord. So I asked him, I said, do you want to say the salvation prayer? He said yes. Also keep in mind, my father had a stroke, so he could barely talk. I mean, his speech was very, very impaired. Um, so he said yes. He repeated every single word after me with the salvation prayer, asked for forgiveness, repented, accepted Christ into his heart. And when he got done, when we got done saying that, we were holding hands. He said amen at least 10 times. He was like, amen, amen, mustering all the strength up in his voice that he could with him having a stroke, and just said amen, amen. So this is kind of a two-part video. One, it's the fact that God called you to be in your family, even when it feels so frustrating and just so, why me? Why put me in this family, right? But the second part of this video that I really want to highlight is just the mercy of God. Oh, Yahuwah is just so merciful. He offers fresh new graces and mercies every single day. And for my dad to have lived to about 73 years old, and you can go that whole entire time, and God gave you mercies and grace every single day until you was literally almost to your last breath and was able to accept. Do you know how much mercy that is? God is so merciful. We serve a merciful God. And I think about how merciful he is when I think about my own testimony. I was in these streets for 7 years. I was practicing witchcraft. I denounced Jesus. I was dabbling into the occult practices and ancestor worship and opening this all these demonic doors, right? For 7 years, I could have been dead and gone, and who knows where my final resting place would have been, right? But Yah saw fit to keep me here on this earth, so that 7 years later, when I gave my life back to Christ in October 2023, he had mercy on my soul. And now I can share my testimony. So if you're watching this and you are in a family and your family members are not going to church, or they're not Bible believers, maybe some of your families, they are into witchcraft or new age, right? It is your job. God has called you specifically to not only model Christ, right? Because when you model Christ so long unapologetically, eventually they're going to say, I want what she got. Look at her life. It's just something about it that's different, right? And secondly, um, you are there to intercede on their behalf. Everyone is called to be an intercessor. It's not a special gift. You can pray on behalf for your family members, and partner with heaven to save your family members. So if you're just in a space where you're like, there's no hope, no, keep interceding, fast. Fast on behalf of the unbeliever, pray on the behalf of the unbeliever. If God puts it on your heart to give them a message, send it to them with love, right? So you're in your family for a reason. Do not take it for granted. You pray for their salvation. You be sanctified, on behalf of them, and watch the miracles that will happen, not only in their life, but in your life as well, because God is going to reward you for being such a faithful servant and a disciple, because Matthew 28:19 says, you go out and you make disciples in this nation. And not only are we called to just do that in other countries or in public, but it starts in our own family. It starts in our own family. So I love you all. Have a wonderful day. YAH loves you so much more. And don't sleep on Jesus. Bye.